Hello viewers, welcome to another segment of Budget in Focus. I am Stacey Carmichael and I'm joined by Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Mr. Sidney Allicock. Welcome to the program, Minister.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Budget 2018. What were some of your initial thoughts after it was presented?
Well, my initial thought was that I thought about the people and what they would see. And because for our budget, it would appear as though we do not have each and every village in the budget. But then I also thought about the taxpayers. I also thought about the other ministries, because in each and every ministry, we have, in each and every village, we have these ministries. All the ministries play a part in the development of those ministries, because in the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, we do not have the specialists or the technical people in education, in health, in security. So we depend on those ministries through the region to have that support going to them. So in general, I think that is something that the public needs to know, that we are not, while we are across the entire country, in every region, we are not totally responsible for every activity. So what has happened there, and it's coming out. I have seen the opposition saying that this is what the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs should be doing, but that happened in the past, and it was duplicating in many cases, and we cannot be seen as continuously doing that. So we have studied it, and we thought the best way forward is to complement each ministry. And I see our ministry as that ministry that is the supporting ministry for sustainability, because we are always there day to day, while the other ministries will start a project. The communities look to us. If there is a, let us say, a door is broken on the school, they come to us to seek support. So we are there and we give that sort of support. There might be something happens with the community health center. They come to us to ask for that support. So we're always there supporting the other ministries. And I think that is the way for us to get the best out of what is there to offer, and stretching the dollar, uh, having in consideration that it is taxpayers' money and we are making the best possible use to satisfy those persons out there that we represent.
Okay, thank you very much, Minister. My next question, what are some of the priority areas for the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs moving forward 2018?
The the bubble, according according to the saying out there, is that oil has been discovered in abundance. Our focus is that we need to get in readiness to be able to be in a situation to be in readiness for when there is the support, the financial support being made available. And we spoke about the green centers or the green center. We have to start somewhere to make this a reality. And we are doing that in Region 9. They might want to ask, why Region 9? Region 9, first of all, is the largest region within the country. It is a region where the last road link within this whole South American road connection is left. And the intention is to complete this road. We are going to have a bridge across the Essequibo River. Essequibo River being the largest river in Guyana. But we need proper bridge. We need to take the example of all the trials of having a proper road being represented at this last stage. We know we had the experiences across, and we're hoping that the best company would be selected to finish that road. Make it a road that will save lives rather than take lives. Meaning, it should be a road of excitement, a road of interest, a road that you must be happy to travel on, and that is focusing on the tourism aspect. We have a wonderful country. We have a country that is, say, have 80% of standing forest or more. We are on the Guyana Shield. We are part of the Amazon basin. But for us to actually, in the heartland, as I call the hinterland, to benefit, it's to have our young people geared in such a way that they would be able to take on that responsibility, management control, use this road. When this road comes through, we must be able to use it and not the other way around where the road uses us. For many years, it was poised as a trail to use us. Now we want to change that. Meaning, we have to have cottage industries within the hinterland. We have to look at renewable energy to have cheaper production, value adding, and that is, we heard that the Letem airstrip will be developed to international capacity, meaning that we'll have a, a busy airport, a connection to the other parts of South America. We would have, we have rather, a number of products that could be developed and is being developed because we are already testing it out to have products for sale. We have to focus a lot on agricultural produce. At the moment, it is difficult to compete on the coast. But when we have, let us say, the Mokomoko Hydro, there are two other options, the Rupununi River and, well, actually three, Jordan Falls, and then we have, there's another falls next to Mokomoko, not very far, Kumo Falls. All of this, if we harness, if we do it right, we have to get a specialist, and we already seen uh, studies of it, and there is a great possibility. We had the Mokomoko Falls before, now we could work on that and correct that. So we have that hydro part, then we have wind power, then we have solar power. All of this will lead to the renewable energy that we're talking about. That will make it easy for the factories that we need to add value to the products, the raw materials that we have. So the farmers for the south, north, and even in central, all they would do is focus on getting the raw materials to market. And here is where the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Tourism is venturing into allowing our people to understand that this is what is coming. To have all of this becoming a reality, you need the workforce. We have a very short time to get in readiness before the oil money starts to flow. So we all cannot go on the oil rig because we are far away. We have persons, we have companies who have years of experience. We prefer to have them work while we give our younger people who are interested to get into to that market eventually. However, there would be the indirect benefits which we need to have into the hinterland. We need to open up the hinterland. And to manage it, you need persons with that capacity. And we have people there, young people just waiting. Our people in the hinterland, in the heartland, they're very creative. It's just to be given the opportunity. But of course, we need them to have the basic skills which they would develop upon. And in the hinterland, we have our indigenous people, youth. They mature very quickly because it's the way of life. We have to learn by doing, and we have so much that we could benefit from. But it's to have the capacity in leadership, the capacity in the skills, the capacity to understand what the communities need. And that is what we are working towards, to getting this, the Bina Hill Institute with the Green Center, we call it the Green Center, to be in that position there, because development through this road is the first community is in the Savannah area that is going to feel the pressure of development, and we need our young people there to be ready to be part and parcel of the discussions, the decisions, the implementation of these decisions, and the sustainability of it. So it's taking responsibility of our hinterland, because for too long we have been saying, we are not getting jobs, or we are not qualified to have the contracts that would be coming. So this center is going to allow that opportunity, because we are going to have internet connection. We are going to have the invitation of teachers, lecturers who would be able to focus on this institution. And this institution is focusing on young adults. And this is not like the regular kindergarten to university teaching. This is about more on the natural surrounding, about the way of the indigenous peoples. That is not taught in the bigger sense of education in Guyana. So I've heard for many years growing up, you would hear policymakers, you would hear developers saying things like, we are going to take education to the indigenous peoples. I'll prefer them to say, we are going to share education. And that is the education that is not shared and needs to be shared in the Guyana context. I've noticed too that there is so much that is missing in the lives of the coastal youths. So they have a tendency of looking overseas rather than within the trees. So they have no idea of what a beautiful country, what a rich country we have, which we could develop right here. And the situation is, since I came into government as a minister, I think it was 2016, where there was a comparison of the results of math and English, well, all the subjects, but especially math and English. And we had regions 1, 7, 8, and 9. I think 2, where they did very badly. But in actual fact, and if we want to be honest, we do not have a level playing field for education. Because we have communities such as Masikanari that takes almost 2 weeks to get out here to Georgetown. The majority of those people or the students have never visited Georgetown. They've never gone on a street to know how to read the lights. For you it might sound strange, but that is the fact. But yet, in the exam papers, questions like name the various lights of the traffic lights and what does it mean? Is that a fair question to the persons who have never actually seen a traffic light? So this is not, I think it's an advantage or a disadvantage. So we need to have that sort of institution within the hinterland to help our young people to become a contributor to national development. And here is where we're focusing on internet, we're focusing on the radio. That's why for too long we have not been properly informed. The country as a whole, especially the hinterland, was lacking information so that they could make decisions that is balanced. So that has been a big drive, and it would be also creating jobs for our young people. We have now, 4 radio stations, and people are now getting that information. People are now interacting. People are now being aware, they're being awakened. And that is what the society needs. That is what Guyana needs, to be well informed so we could be able to partake in decision making for this country. And this will also give us that opportunity, the hinterland people. The hinterland, I say, and even I say the heartland, because it is not totally indigenous there. We have other persons who have gone to make the hinterland or the heartland their home, and they enjoy and they see the value in unity. And I think I like to use the word unity in diversity, and that is what Guyana is all about. And that is why the coalition, and that is what I think needs to be sold to our people in a way so that they could begin to think. So now is the best time for these institutions to be established. And in addition to that, it is to show how the hinterland, the indigenous peoples could make a living. They could live off by finding the green gold. Everything is about green. And we believe, the indigenous peoples always believe, that the standing forest is more valuable than a dead forest. And I'll give you an example. Tourism being one of them. Community-based tourism. Allowing the community, you go about your daily lives, you just have to package it. But you continue your daily life and you get through internet to understand what the market needs, what's the market, and you package accordingly. And here is where you have, in community-based tourism, everybody benefits. Because from education, from health, from security, from restaurants, the farmers, the transportation persons by boat or land, the guide, the storyteller, the cultural group, the elders, the persons who will take you by aircraft, the persons with handicrafts, all those persons benefit. The person from health with training in first aid, because you have to be there if a tourist gets suddenly sick, you must know what to do. In addition to that, it creates an opportunity for the community to benefit one way or the other, indirect or direct benefits. And what happens in the hinterland, what happens in the Rupununi there is that there is a rotation system that you could go 1 month on, 1 month off. So you have time to make some money, and you have time for your family, for your friends, for travel, and for relaxation. So you don't wait until you're 65 years to say you're going to leave. You enjoy life, and that is the type of community-based tourism you talk. You must enjoy life. Life is to be enjoyed. And that is what needs to be harnessed, needs to be promoted, and through this institution, that will be there to help. And we have seen, as I also use this way of looking at life. When the flower blooms, the bees follow. Meaning, if you create an activity and is likable, it will attract the young people, or it will attract people. And that is what is happening to this institution already. And we have youths coming from regions 1, 7, 8, and 10. Also 9, well, of course, region 9. But we've tried the first 2 years already, and as soon as they were done, there were businesses just sucking up these young people to work, mainly in the tourism sector. Tourism and agriculture is the big thing there. We also seen that the top students, they've excelled, and they're now at the University of Guyana. We also have 8 other youths who are at the IAST doing their packaging and the science and stuff like that, to help when they return, to be there to do the packaging and how they do the science part of mixing the products and so on. And at Anai, we have the Makushi women who have been there for many years, doing their soap and their oils and creams and stuff like that. But last year, 2016, within 10 months, they've been able to transfer that product into a real marketable product. It's adding value. And here is where the IAST, through Professor Suresh Narain, we sort of found one another on our journey, and we were able to involve him, and he was able to take this product to do the science part of it. And within 10 months, it was what we call the crabwood seed. You get an oil from it. A lemongrass, it extract that oil too, and the coconut oil. And that combination with the other ingredients was able to make a product that is really refreshing for the face, a facial wash. So you're tired like this, you go there and you wash, and you're awakened. And that's a product that was able within 10 months to bring close to $3 million profit after doing everything with little investment. And that is the type of thing that is there within the green economy. That's the green goal, because you could go back to that tree or those trees year after year without destroying it. And that is what I'm talking about. The tourism, you could go there, take photographs, look at the birds, see these birds over and over without trapping them, but you just take tourists. But that is the type of quality these institutions will bring to open up the hinterland, instead of just, I'm not certain that the opposition is aware of where we live here, below sea level, when we talk about climate change. And here is where this institution too, in the hinterland, the Green Institute, the Green Center, will be focusing on climate change, the weather pattern, forest, the environment, and how the ecosystem works. And there has been no better person or persons or group of people than the indigenous peoples to know what it is to protect the natural environment, to work with nature rather than against nature, who understands what it means to have a healthy ecosystem and understands the relationship between all the other managers of this the ecosystem. What is the work of the earthworm? What is the work of Uncle Monkey? What is the work of Miss Fish? All that. What is the linkage? And that is something that needs to be taught. We are living at a time when there is climate change that is real. We have seen the destruction of natural disasters. Look what has happened in the islands. We are below sea level. Tsunami could happen. I'm not wishing for it, but we have to be thinking. What happens if you get a signal that there is a tsunami thing? Look at the roads that we have here. Just to come to work, it is cramped. I think as a parliament, we should look at Guyana and try to come up with ways of how we could better the situation. We need more roads. We need more persons to agree that there's a serious challenge here. Don't take it for granted. Look, I think it's 2005 when the whole coast here was underwater. Look what happened. I was even thinking, trying to share this idea, but it's difficult to sell it. I was thinking about having, like, you go 30 miles further south and get a highway straight across the country, and let that be like the homestead, and focus on the coastal land here, this rich soil, on agricultural development, all sorts of agriculture. bananas or whatever you have. And then you have within the coastal area the roads going up to the main, so that you could easily escape even if it's anything. But that's just by the way. But all of that is in the process of thinking. This budget will help us to get more in readiness for this eventuality. And money starts to come, all these things will happen. We understand, we heard about the bridge over the Demerara Bridge. Instead of saying who started it or who was it, get on with the job and build the bridge. Expand, come together, and let us be adults, let us grow up to support the budget. I think we are not, while we talk about being thinking of the people who supports us, we are not working honestly to make that happen. I see us as the government on this side, the coalition government, as having the vision, while I see the opposition as having division. And that is a great unfortunate situation.
Okay.
I would also like to say that we have the National Tushos Council. I, from day one, had an open door policy where we could discuss, because I know of the situation and we all want things to work. But I've come across like these hurdles where we would discuss one thing, but shortly after in the papers you see something else. They're contradicting what we said. And in that way it's slowing up the whole process. We have land issues wherein the president had established a COI. Today, if we had, and it got rejected. The NTC and other indigenous groups asked for an audience with the president. He agreed, we went, we discussed, and he agreed that, okay, we will put a hold on it, but we agreed on 5 points to discuss, and they said they wanted some time. That COI ended in October. It has an extension. We are 2 months and we have not been able to get it going. I was hoping that, and I spoke to NTC. I said, while the Amerindian land titling goes on, we have some issues with these other groups that the COI could be looking after that while we proceed with the Amerindian land titling and investigations and stuff like that. To no avail. The NTC complained about the 16 million. The NTC is a body, corporate, that they could go out to seek funding. Nothing is stopping them. Only recently, they came with a proposal for the secretariat, the construction of the secretariat fund. They're applying to the Chinese, which I gave my blessing. I did a covering letter and I sent it out. In good faith, it's something that I would like to see happen. But yet, we are not, I don't believe that they're serious about the development of the hinterland. And I think it is because most of the executive members, the key executive members are from the coastal communities. So they have very little, I think, interest in those far-flung areas which are truly difficult and needs attention. But that 16 million could do a lot.
Okay.
We have, when we go out, we also accommodate when they ask, we're going out, we take them. So we do support their, we need them to be more proactive. We need them to think more about the economic situation. We need to know their revision of the act. Nothing up to now. So, and then, it is sad to say, but it is about just finding all the negatives, and it's causing us not to progress. But I'm hoping that they would see it beneficial when we make our we'll start the consultation. We have 2 meetings booked for this month, and we just hope that it will ignite some interest and we could all get on board and get on with the work next month. Next month is next year.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Minister. We're out of time now, but thank you so much for joining us on Budget in Focus. We hope that we could have another discussion with you on development in the hinterland.
Okay.
And thank you so much, viewers, for joining us on Budget in Focus. Join us again for our next segment. I'm Stacey Carmichael, and with me today was the Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Mr. Sidney Allicock. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you so much, and join me in the way to the good life.